Support Provider 1 from the University of Memphis.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me in the back? Awesome. Now I feed off crowd energy. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, down. All right. As we all know, the implement of Windows 10 is just around the corner for all universities, especially in Tennessee. Today I'll give you a brief overview of what to look for in Windows 10, why Windows 10, and pretty much everything that possibly touches and covers Windows 10 we're going to touch on today. So, like I said, I feed off energy. So you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Make me feel a little good. All right. There are three major questions in reference to Windows 10. One, why Windows 10? Two, when should Windows 10 be deployed? And three, how to support Windows 10 for all my techs. How many techs I got in the room? I love you guys. I do. All right. Windows 8. Why not Windows 8?
It's hard to navigate.
Not all at one time, sorry.
It's hard to navigate.
Hard to navigate. Anybody else?
Hard to navigate.
All right. The number one answer I've heard, especially at our staff meetings from our technical group, is they hate it. They definitely hate it. So I did a little research myself, along with a few other people, and we came up with a few reasons why not to update your users to Windows 8. Three reasons not to choose Windows 8. One, it has an app-like interface. You load it on the computer and it looks like fun. It's like a bunch of games. So, if I'm a student in the tech lab and I come there to actually study dissertation, maybe, papers, and I load Windows 8, first thing I see is Xbox Live. Now I'm staff, I'm a tech, I work. But if you said Xbox Live in front of me, it's gonna be a lot of tickets that's open. No technical advantage to what we're doing for text by itself. It has no technical advantage at all. It just doesn't do anything that you need it to do. Start menu's kind of crappy, desktop's kind of crappy, you hit a button, it takes you to the desktop. So that's horrible. And Windows advertised all these great features with 8, but they said it themselves that it was optimized and focusing on systems for touchscreen based devices. So it definitely would not work. So that's what I thought of Windows 8. All right, Windows 10. Who has a Surface? Anybody get the Surface and 10 came on it? Good. If you got them a year and a half, probably 2 years ago, or when they first came out, they came with Windows 8 on it, and like I said, the interface was great for touchscreen. You take it off, it becomes a tablet, then it's a little better than a laptop. But Windows 10 now, they're pushing it out with Surfaces, and we're pushing Surfaces across the campus for most of our staff, some faculty users I've seen with Surfaces, and I've imaged a few for a few other people, and we're pushing 10 out on those. So if you don't want to go with Windows 10, you definitely have no choice, especially if you're going to use the Surface. 2, continuity. Anybody has Windows Phone? I'm sorry. But continuity. So you got your Windows Phone, you got a Surface, you got your PCs. And most people have dual screens working at work with your PCs. So you want continuity. You want everything to look the same across the board. That's the great feature of Windows 10. It's a huge performance increase. Windows 10, it boots a few seconds faster than 7, whole lot faster than 8. So it's a huge performance increase, especially if you're using solid state drives. Anybody out there migrate to solid states yet? Awesome. So I feel like I'm playing a game. Everybody like shooting their hand up, like, yes, me. But second, well, it's pretty. If you look at it, I wish I can get off my presentation here. I have 10 on my laptop. It's pretty. I love it. It kind of takes my focus off work sometimes. I sit there and look at the screen like, man, there's Windows 10. It's awesome. I love it. I actually love it. Another reason, Cortana. I don't know if she'd be a reason or not. She's kind of like Siri's understudy right now. She'll tell you pretty much anything. How's the weather? I have her turned off now because I tried this presentation in our meeting, and as I was talking, it's like she assisted me. Kind of popped on. I was like, okay, that's enough, Cortana. You say Cortana stops. I'm like, the meaning of stop? No. That's not what I want. But they did introduce Cortana. And with Cortana came Edge. It's Microsoft's new browser. For home use, Edge would be great. There's still some bumps in the road they have to cross. For business use, Edge is not great. Any Banner users out there? That was a dumb question. But it does not integrate well with Banner. Nothing in your university Edge works great with. So if anybody's looking to go forward with Edge and get the universities off of Internet Explorer, don't do it. You can't run enterprise mode with Edge if anybody's running enterprise operating systems. Right now, we're probably 7 enterprise across the board. So it does not work well at all. And most of all, it's free. It's my favorite word. It's free, I'm gonna be here. Like the dinners they serve, it's free. So I love it. What to do before deploying Windows 10. Training. University of Memphis is taking upon themselves to partner with New Horizons. I don't know if any other universities out there partner with New Horizons, but they're sending all of our techs, including myself, which I've already done it back in February, through Microsoft 10 training. So, before deploying, you want to make sure you're fluent with supporting Windows 10, which the only difference is it has a new face, per se. It's just like supporting 7. So, the training from Windows 10, you want to make sure you're fluent in it. You're going to get a lot of questions, especially if, I hope you're still not using XP. Some of you. I did talk to a few people and they said, well, I'm still running XP on some machines. So, that's going to be a transition. System compatibility. You want to make sure the boxes that you're moving to Windows 10 can actually handle it and do what you need to do across the board to make sure your users are comfortable and can get everything working correctly with Windows 10. Microsoft's required specs to run Windows 10. That's like 1 gig of RAM for 32-bit operating system, or 2 gigs of RAM for a 64-bit operating system. 16 gigs of available hard disk space. That's fine at home, and if you plan on just checking email. But for what all we do, you want to make sure you have at least 6 gigs of RAM to start with running Windows 10. That's at the very minimum. I tried running it on an Optiplex 740 with 4 gigs of RAM. It loaded, it ran correctly, it booted properly, but it was still some lag issues. I have an Optiplex 9020 with 8 gigs of RAM right now, and it runs fine. Perfect, no problems. Tickets pull up, no problems. Programs pull up, no problems. i5 processor or higher. You want to make sure your users are comfortable. Great way of doing this is kind of giving them a fair warning. They're like, hey, you know we're moving to Windows 10. Any questions? You want to make sure you pretty much know your users for the techs. You know who's comfortable with going to new systems and comfortable with change. Then you definitely have users that's not so comfortable with change. So you want to make sure they're all comfortable with moving. If so, if you have the time, sit down with them, kind of talk to them, coach them through whatever you need to coach through to make sure they are comfortable with going to Windows 10. All right, for the text, help. How are you going to support it? I did touch on this earlier, and Windows 10 has a great feature. If you go to the start menu, which they did bring back, and it's a real start menu. So if you go to the start menu and you right click, it'll bring up a lot of helpful links. Not links, but programs that we would normally search for. Command prompt, device manager, anything that we would search for to actually help our users. So that's the great reason. And it's just like 7, supporting Windows 7. It's just a different look. That's all. All right. And that was quicker than what I thought it would be.
That's what happens.
The grilling part. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are there still privacy concerns about Windows 10, about it sending off information to Microsoft?
To my knowledge and what I've read, there are no privacy concerns, but I always have a privacy concern with any and everything. The internet, their browser that they're introducing, Edge, has some of the same features as Internet Explorer. Tabs, private browsing, and default search engine is Bing, but it's still privacy concerns to me. So, yes, to answer your question. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you have any experience with the LTSD version of Windows 10?
Not so much.
So from what I can tell, it's like a very stripped down version of Windows 10. Like it removes Edge, removes the Microsoft Store, all that.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you played around with that.
Haven't played around with it yet. The biggest thing I played around with in 10, anybody in here use Windows Easy Transfer? Okay. Now, when setting up your users, I definitely recommend going with a new image, a fresh new image, backing the files up to the NAS, and bringing their files over that way. The Easy Transfer tool does work. You have to package it different for it to work, and it only works right now with 64-bit operating system. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
How are you deploying Windows 10?
Great question. I have 3 guinea pigs out there now. They're faculty. And I got 3 new laptops in, and I said, you know what, I'm not going Windows 7. We're going to do Windows 10. But regular deployment will be over the summer, leading into the fall. We're going to start with staff first. Of course, all the techs have it now. We're encouraging all the techs to upgrade their boxes to Windows 10. But we're going to staff, faculty, then students. We did have it in our tech lab for the students. It did have a little trouble connecting to drivers for our printers on the print server. So we took it out, ran it back through our DAS team, which is our desktop application support team. But we will be, that's how we'll roll it out. Staff, faculty, then students.
You doing that as you get new machines, or do you plan on upgrading current systems?
Both.
Okay.
As we get new machines, we got a small deployment coming out right now, about 350 machines that we're going to do here shortly. And Windows 10 is going on all of them.
What
And
method are you going to use to deploy those?
Using System Center, MDT?
System Center.
Okay. You had any issues with that so far?
We ran a beta version
Okay.
on System
That's-
Center
all right.
first.
That's probably fixed some of the bugs that
Right.
we've seen.
Right. Yes, Deb.
Have you done any configuration hardware before you roll this out?
Now, we're speaking with the team who actually deals with System Center and getting it ready to roll out. He didn't do much with it from what I understand. It was sort of like magic. One day I was there in a beta version, and I was like, what'd you do? And he kind of kept it a secret. I was like, well, you got to tell me. So, please tell me. I don't want to just be out here in the dark, but it was a beta version put out there, and that was it.
So how are you dealing with Java in Windows 10?
Java actually works great. The huge issue which they did fix was you couldn't, I think it was Java 6.31 with Banner, and Banner didn't work or play well with other versions of Java until they came out with 8.37. Windows 10, I'm running on my box at my office, and I'm running Banner with 8.37 Java, and it plays well with it. No problems at all. Just make sure you click the box that says, "Don't ask me again." Always allow. That gets bothersome.
So what version of Banner are you guys on?
Banner
You're not on XC, right?
XC.
You're on XC?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I've seen someone else. Yes, sir.
Did you notice any increase in shadiness or demanding connectivity to the internet or something? Windows 8 or something like that? Some services should be disabled before we deploy it out or something like that. Did you notice any of that?
I gotta get about halfway to you. I'm sorry.
Did you get to notice any increase in shadiness or bandwidth usage in Windows 10? Like some services may demand connectivity to the internet to social media or something like that that we should be aware of before deploying it.
Right. I have. Not at all. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if there's still problems with Oracle Client in Windows 10? There was, for a while they weren't supporting it, and I don't know if that's changed or.
To my knowledge, it has not changed. I kind of stay away from Oracle. I support it. We had a lot of issues with it with 7, but I haven't really gone through it with 10 yet. We're still in that phase of trying to see what works with it, what doesn't work with it. So far, we're A1. I'll do that tomorrow. Any other questions? Lois?
What's been your,
Do you know if you guys customize your user profiles any, do you do specific configurations to software packages as you're creating your images and deploy them, or how do they do it?
Right now, it's just standard across the board, and that was a great question because we did look at that. And remember when I was talking about Xbox Live?
Mhm.
It pops up again on 10,
Right.
and it's like yay for me. But it does pop up again on 10. A few other things that's not needed in a work environment. I would say that they will kind of package it down and put as needed applications on there as we deploy it across the board. So. Any other questions?
so what's been your biggest challenge with rolling out Windows 10? What have been some problems you've had to overcome?
Well, we haven't officially rolled it out. It's just with the text. I can't. When the beta version first came out, I wiped my machine, put 10 on it. I was like, "Yeah, we got 10. Let's try it out." And I can't remember what program it worked with. It did not have an issue with. I couldn't get my Active Directory on there right with everything, with the drivers and everything loading. My Active Directory would not act right for nothing. Don't know why, but I went back, I rolled my machine back to 7 and went with AD. Then now since we have the original version, the full version instead of the beta version, everything works fine.
So you can use the Active Directory conduit for like users and computers and all that.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any problems with wireless computers then, on my phone?
I haven't had any issues at all with wireless at all.
I mean, your personal computers, but on 3 of them, I've had problems with it.
Really?
Yeah. I had to do, reconfigure my IP. You have to turn off Bluetooth, sometimes I don't know.
The machines I loaded on were Latitude E-Series. I think it was 520, 6540. That was one of the first things I made sure to work was wireless because it's going out the factory and they're going to be using wireless at all times. So I tested it out. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, everyone's been great. Feels like I just met you Sunday. But thank you so much for coming, and you guys have a great rest of the day.